Okay, so hi, my name is Tanya Sanders, and I'm back with um, a video of a learning management system called Schoology. Now, this is a district-related Schoology. This district does pay for this account for their teachers, so you may have a paid account or not. So you need to distinguish that with your tech department or your administration to be able to um, know exactly what your limits are if you have any. But for the most part, the things I'm going to be showing you are included in the free version as well. So this is the default view that this district has chosen to go to. Usually when your district pays for this, it has an administrator who decides how everything's going to look, the settings, adding the students. Sometimes they're done automatically through your student information system. It just depends on how it's set up. So all of this is different all across the board with any of your school districts. So I'm going to talk about this home page. These are groups that I'm connected to, other teachers across the state of Ohio and some international as well. These are people who I've connected to because I'm interested in these topics. And it looks like flipped classroom is an amazing topic to be exploring right now at this time. This also is the update area for students. So I can post an update. I do not put my assignments in this area. You can also put an event, and then there's more things that you can associate with this area, a blog, a personal blog, and the students are connected to a portfolio as well when they get into Schoology. Schoology is huge. It can do a lot. So I'm going to only explore the basic things with it, and then you can explore it a little more, email me, and then there should be another series up about Schoology soon, hopefully. So, so this is the home view, and you can also have the default as a course dashboard. So all my courses could come up. A lot of districts choose this view so that when students come in here, they can, boom, click on the course that they want. All of their courses will be available for them, and then they'll go into it. But if that is not my default view, recent activity, the students can either choose course dashboard or go to courses, and it shows all their courses listed up here, and then they can go to it. There's only two other things created that you can create things in for your course. There's groups. So I can create groups for my students. This is usually introduced as a way to have extracurriculars connected to each other. Volleyball teams, parents can be associated with these. Students, I've seen teams of teachers create groups and they share resources back and forth. But it's another way of sharing resources back and forth, or information or announcements, but creating specific groups associated with that. Courses are usually designed around the students who are physically in your class at that time. So if you have 5 sections of English 9, then you're going to have 5 different courses that are called English 9 Section 1, English 9 Section 2. Now, if you're in a district where they're expecting you to create your own classes, there's a couple steps that get you there. Usually it's auto-generated through your student information system, but if I do not have my courses there, I would go to my courses, and then I would hit create a course. You would put the course name, the section, subject area, what level it is, and then the grading period is super important, and it has to be one that is alive at that time. So this Q4 is live until June 19th, middle school, high school, and this is usually set up by the district administrator, whoever's running your Schoology. So yeah, those things can help you add your course or create a course exactly the way that you want it to be added. So I'm going to hit cancel. If you want to join a course, or you want the students to join your course, then you would click join course, and they would put the access code in. The students would do it the same way. But again, that depends upon how your school district is set up. If it automatically just generates all the courses for the students, then you're cool. If not, then you may have to give your code to your students and have them join. So let me go back to my courses, my online course, and this one has students in it. And then you can see on the left-hand side the access code. This is what they would type into that join area. Okay, so the only things they're really going to use on your course itself, materials, possibly updates, and again, this is specific to this course. Materials, updates. A lot of school districts do not use the gradebook because they already have a gradebook that's being used. But in this gradebook, you can do badges. You can give them awards for and gamify it a little bit to give them credit for what they're working on. Grade setup, this is where you can add your rubrics, you can add your grading scales, you can add categories if your district gives you access to that. But that's where you would change those. Mastery is just quickly if you're trying to get students to go from, you want them to be able to pass 3 tests and get at least an 80% or higher on 2 assignments, then that's what you would consider mastery in here. So you would set that up based on your learning objectives and your expectations through that work. And they can't master it until they've done those set of criteria that you set up for them. Here's the badges. That's how you would create the badges or set up the badges and assign those badges. You can take attendance within Schoology, so that's a nice aspect. A lot of people like to use that, unless of course you're using Progress Book or Power School to do that, or Gradebook, or you know, Smart Technologies Notebook, whatever you're using to do that. Like I said, the 3 things that you're going to be using: materials, updates. Here's the 3rd one. I finally got to it: members. Members is where you would add all the students that are in your classroom, or you would see all the students who are in your classroom. And if those students, this is a student, so if he's in my classroom, I can make him an admin. I can unenroll him. I could also preview the course as that student. I can also do that up here. So view course as, and then view that course as that student. So materials is where I'm going to put all my coursework, all my curriculum. Updates is where I'm going to be leaving announcements to the students, telling them things. And then members is where I can navigate adding students, adding admins, finding people to co-teachers to look at my course as a student, not as a student. It just depends on what you want to do there. Analytics is going to tell you where everybody's been, doing what, how often, and there's more options up here based on what they've done in that course. These are called breadcrumbs, and I'm going to go backwards based on that. I could go up to courses and go backwards that way, but I'm just going to hit Schoology Online Section 1, and I'm back to my materials page. Workload planning is great in districts where everybody's using Schoology, because it will tell you, the teacher, what students are doing that week. So if they already have 2 tests, one in science, one in math this week, it will tell you their workload if you have that same student. Let's say I'm planning on having a test on Friday. Well, I would go look at the workload and I would be able to tell who is doing what at that time. So I could, well, you know, the students are turning in a research paper on Friday, so I might want to hold off and have my test be Monday. So those are all the things over there. Again, materials, updates, and members are the only things that you really need to use. So the first thing that I do, as you can see here, I always create folders. This is like in Google Classroom when you create the topics. So I'm creating a folder, and then I have folders within those folders that show exactly the navigation of how you're supposed to clean create or actually complete these things. Sorry. So I'm going to start all of this from the basic step. Again, this is the materials, this is the curriculum, this is how you do it. Now I'm going to go to add materials and I'm going to add a folder. And I'm going to call this Schoology Online Learning. I'm going to give it a yellow folder. I can give it a description if I like. I don't need to give it a date. In fact, a lot of times I don't. I'm going to choose published or unpublished. I'm going to leave it published, but this is the way that you can hide things from the students if you're not ready for them to see it yet. So now I'm going to hit create, and there's going to be a brand new folder in here that's going to be called Schoology Online Learning. Now, as soon as I'm ready to put something in that folder, okay, just like this, I click on that, and then I go up to add materials. There's nothing in this folder, but this is the folder that I'm in. These are called breadcrumbs again. So I'm going to go up to add materials, and I'm going to add a file link. Now, external tool you don't have to worry about right now. So add file link is the one that you're probably going to use the most. So I'm going to hit add file or link, and then I just choose file. Now I can upload something from my computer. It's going to navigate me to my desktop, and I can say, well, I want it to be this assessment, and then I'm going to hit open. I can align it to certain objectives. I can individually assign it. If I had more students in here, I could click that and I could say who I'm going to individually assign it to, and then it is published to the students as the default. I can copy it to other courses if I wish, but I'm just going to add it to the Schoology Online Learning folder. Okay, so that is an add file link. Now, if I want to add a link, I can do a URL or embed code. So I can go over here to YouTube, and I can find a video that I want. That's it. And I can copy this. I can go back to my class, and I can paste it. I accidentally hit my space bar with my elbow, sorry. I'm going to give it a title here, and I'm going to call it Experiments with Soda. And I can do the same thing again. I can individually assign it. If I'm trying to differentiate, I can display it in Schoology. I can publish it to the students, and I can copy it to other courses. But I'm just going to add it to this folder called Schoology Online Learning. Okay, so now Experiments with Soda, as soon as the students click on that, it will bring up that YouTube video. Okay. The way most things have embed codes, so anything that has a share, this is how you can figure it out. And this is an advanced thing, but I'm going to show it to you really quickly because a lot of times people want to embed YouTube videos. I can do that different ways, but I'm going to show you the way to find an embed code. So if you go share, most educational tools or even coding tools will have an embed option. So I can click on this, and this whole video can be embed into my Schoology. So I'm going to copy that code. It just copied. All I had to do is hit copy. I'm going to hit the X. I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to do the add materials, add file link again. I'm going to do the link again, but right here where it says enter a URL or embed code, and I'll show you the difference between those. I'm going to call it Experiments with Soda again. Again, I can do all of these things and then hit add. Now you'll see the difference between it as soon as it pops up. This one has just a link, and this one will have a YouTube player embedded within that. So when the students click on it, that they'll be able to see the video right here rather than opening a new tab. Okay, so that's called embedding. That was add materials. All of those was add materials and file link. Add file and link. So that's the one that you're probably going to use over and over and over again. Now, I always put things in the order that I want the students to complete them in. I can put multiple things if I like. I'll introduce my one thing at the end of this video, at the end of the materials portion of it, just because I think it is helpful to know why that thing's there, or why I use it. So the next thing that I want to do is add a discussion. I want the students to be able to talk about some things. And this is the portion that I was telling you that built-in wonderful ability for students to discuss things, whether it be via video or audio. So you can do an audio video recording. I can, the students can reply back to me as a video audio. This is great for foreign languages. This is great for interpreting text. It is great for giving answers or book reviews, or giving a view on a passage that you had the students read, anything, even a question, like respond to this question, and all the students will respond to it. So I'm going to call this discussion board on revenge. And I'm going to give them a description. And usually in this description, I'll tell them, make sure that you make 2 positive points, 1 negative point. I'll tell them exactly what I want them to do. It needs to be 2.5 minutes long. It has to fulfill this rubric, these requirements. And, you know, I can also add a rubric. I can add a link. I can add something from my resources. This is something we haven't talked about yet. I can add an audio video recording, and so can the students. And then we're just going to ignore external tools for now. That's something a little bit more advanced. I can give it a due date like all the other things. I can enable grading. I can give it a category. And I can say which semester it's due. And then there's a lot of districts that are going pass fail. I can also go with the grade percentages that we've decided for the entire district through the student handbook. Again, I can align it. I can individually assign it. I can lock it if I don't want anyone to be in it. I can unpublish the students or publish the students. And this is the difference between this material and other materials. So when it says add materials, members can see other responses before participating. I turn this off because I want the students to be able to post, and they can't see anything else until they post once. So that's kind of a neat little way of getting them to think on their own independently, get that information out there. So I'm going to hit create. Excuse me. And then now I can see there's discussion. This is a document that I've uploaded, a file. This is a link. This is embedded, and that was all done through add file link. And then this one is a discussion board. It was done through add discussion. And the next one that I'm going to do is add an assignment. Now, if you add an assignment, it's kind of the same as some of these other ones, but it's expecting them to turn something in. Now, if I put my example assignment up here, I put my description. I'm very detailed in what I tell them that I want them to do. Again, I can add a file from my computer, a link. I can grab something from my resources, which is underneath here, and I'll show you that towards the end. I can add audio video recording, and then we're going to ignore that tool again. This is a mini editor up here, so I can add subscript and superscript, and I can add some media or insert some content that is going to be helpful for the students to understand this assignment. So I can add materials to it. I can give it a due date, how many points. I can determine which category it's going to be in, which semester, which quarter I'm going to be grading it under, and then all the same things down at the bottom where I can individually assign it, lock it. I enabled submissions. If the students say they can't submit, then this might be the reason why. You might want to check that out and make sure that it's live and it's green with the little download button. It is published to students. If they can't see it, then it means it's not published to them. And then we're going to allow the students to comment on the assignments, and I'm going to be allowed to comment on the assignments as well. And I could copy it to my courses or other courses. So I'm going to hit create. Now, the one thing that this assignment is expecting the students to do is to turn something in. I didn't give them much direction. Okay, so I'm going to go down to my gear here and I'm going to go edit. I can't make it a Google assignment. I can find it connected to, now this one's not connected to my Google Drive perfectly right now. This has been an issue in the past with Schoology. I have not connected it directly to my Google Drive as of yet, so I need to make that connection again. Don't use this one. This is the paid version of that. There is an easier way of doing that I'm going to show you in Kami when we get to that video. So I would be more detailed in this. I would give them a thing to fill out. I would give them a picture. I would give them a PDF, and then the directions would lead them to use the correct tool, and the directions, the video, whatever I need to get them to complete that assignment. But the easy part is you telling them what to do. The hard part is how are they going to complete it and fill it out and then upload it back to you. So I'm going to hit Save Changes, and now it's within that area. Now, you can also do add materials, add a test or a quiz, or add assessment. The puzzle piece assessment is the newer one. This is the older one. They supposedly were going to do away with that one. This one mimics more of the online testing that is required by the state of Ohio. So I can give it a name here, Test Over Revenge. Give it a due date, get it points. Submissions are enabled. Password disabled. I don't like to attach passwords to anything. It's difficult enough getting students into an assignment, completing assignment, let alone forcing them to remember a password to get in there. Category, I can create a new category and call it testing. And then I can add a scale, whichever scale that I want. And then I can give it a details description through my formatting option. Again, I can individually assign, I can publish to students, making sure that green light is on. The statistics that are associated with this, we saw that a little bit ago, the analytics. And then this one is not able to be copied to a course because it keeps all your quizzes kind of in a pool. So you can pull from those if needed. So I'm going to hit create. Now, the test portion is a little bit different. So when I go in here and it opens it up, all of these tabs are important at some point in time. So right now when you're setting it up, the setup is the important thing. I can put the instructions in here, and then I would go through each portion of the setup to make sure it fits that test and that class and those students. So if these are the assessment setups, assessment has a time limit, yes or no. Usually the yes causes more issues. Assessment questions are randomly ordered. Yes, that usually is something that's nice, convenient for the teacher to use. So if students are trying to cheat or asking about certain questions, that'll mix it up. So all of these things, I would just go through each and every one of them and make sure that's exactly what you want. Do you want them to have 1 attempt, 2 attempts? How many attempts do you want them to have to complete it? Students can highlight text. Yes. Students can use a protractor. This is where it mimics the online testing. Now, this portion is, I usually let my students experiment with this. And what I mean by students is when I'm teaching teachers about Schoology, I just have you add each of these question types. So on the left is the question type. And then as soon as I add it, it will pop that one up as question 1, multiple choice question. And it'll give me the option of how to build it. So the question set up, that is the question. Okay. What is 2 + 2 equal? Okay. And then I can go down here and I can go 2, 3, 4, or 5. And I can format each of these. I can use some HTML source code. I can all the way down to just regular text, different sizes. And then I can also do some equation stuff, math equations, notes, calculator stuff. Correct answer, so I can tell it what the correct answer is. And then I can also give it some feedback, adding the learning objectives to it. I can give notes, and then I can add another alternate answer if I want it to say like it's this one plus it's this one. This question, it does not require that, so that shouldn't be an option. But I also can add an option where the students type in their answer of what they think it is. So none of these could be right, and I could just say what is their possible answer that they want there. Actually, I think I was wrong about that. I think it's mine. Yes, it is mine. So I could put the answer in there. So there's different options of what you can do in here to set up that question. So I like that question, so I'm going to hit save. And then I'm back to this screen again. So now I can try true or false. So I go to true or false, and same thing is going to happen. I just build the question, and then I say what the answer is. Or I would put you are in 7th grade, and then it would be true or false. So I'd write it better than that. I apologize. Require correction if false, and then yes, you could do that, and then one of the options that you could have in there for that. Save that one. On the next question, I'll show you the preview, because you can't preview the whole test. You can preview only one question at a time. So the third one, and like I said, I suggest that you go through each of these and see how they act when you create something. So I'm going to add a matching one and match the music note with the correct definition. And I can format that based on these things. And I can format each question based on it. So let's see what we have within here. Calculator, ruler, protractor. I could upload audio. Maybe I would be playing scales, and I could have the students determine the scale or the instrument that's being played. I could record audio right here, so I could play an instrument for them. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to have the things that are matched across from each other. And then that's how they're answered. So that's the students are going to drag them where they need to drag them. Duplicate responses. Can there be duplicate responses? Nope, I don't want that. I want it to be an exact match. I can leave notes, but for the most part, you're just putting the thing across from it that the students would match. And now I can preview that. So what goes with 1? Oh, 1 goes with 1. What goes with 2? 2. And obviously, being educators, you know that I'm just giving you a very simple way of doing this. It's not 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. It's going to be, you know, like when you give an inanimate object personal qualities, and it's going to be personification. When the sound makes when the word makes the sound of that thing, and it's onomatopoeia. So, you know, comparison using two things using like or as, simile. So like one side is going to be the word and the other side is going to be the definition. And so I'm going to hit add or save. I'm sorry, save. And I can cancel out of that to get out of that loop. It was in the preview mode. Okay. Oh, looks like you can preview. Oh, the test itself, where you can start the attempt. I'm not going to do that because I wanted to look at it like a student. So you can preview the whole test as a student. But you have all these options down here for completing that test or creating that test. And then when students complete them, they'll grade. The grading will be in here. You can see the progress of how the students are answering the questions. And then you can see the reporting percentage-wise, how many people missed question 1, 2, 3, 8, whatever, how many ever questions you have on there. So these are my breadcrumbs, and I'm going to go backwards again. I'm going to go back to Schoology Online Learning. That's the folder that I'm working in. And there's the test that I was working in a little bit ago. So the majority of these things, I always start with a folder. And I put all of these things in that folder. So here's the Schoology Online Learning, there's the folder, and then I put a discussion board in there. I can add a link or a file in there for the students to work off of, and I can add an assignment and then give them a test. So you can organize your information in there that way. Some of these other things I don't normally use. The one that I said was advanced, but I want to show it to you. I guess it's not really advanced, so I'm going to add a page. I look at it as like instructions for the students. That's an outline, that's information, telling them exactly what they're going to do all week. Sometimes I organize everything all in this text. So first, watch this video. Second, go to this link. Third, open up this document. I give them a link to that document. So everything is listed in here. I give them direct instructions. It's kind of like a web quest of items directly into one page. And then you have all these editors in there, editing options in there, so you can make it look like a web page so the students can navigate through that. But that's how I use Page. I use Page to give them chunks of information that's beneficial to what they're doing for that course. Those are the basics of it. Adding package, adding media album. Students can populate, add pictures, you can add pictures. It's a way of adding things to collaborate, everybody adding pictures if it was, or projects. So if I had all my students turn in some Google slide presentations or a video, I could have them add it to this album. This album would be called Examples of Revenge Acted Out. Based on the book Count of Monte Cristo. So then the students would add or upload their media. It could be audio files, it could be presentations, it could be video files that they could add to that. You can also use discussion for that as well, where the students could upload their materials in that discussion, links, slideshows, presentations, whatever you're using, could all be submitted that way for grading. Okay. And the very, well, I'm going to go over a couple more things, but the third tab is resources. At the end of the year, let me go back to my courses, Schoology. So let's say I love this course. All the materials, I can filter them, navigate them this way. But one of the options is to save course to resources. So let's say it's the end of the year and I'm done, I'm happy with my course. I'm going to save this course to resources. Well, that's where this is, my resources. If I go into Chrome Basics, this is something that I've saved from a course. But let's say that I have a brand new course coming up and, oh geez, these Chrome apps, I really want to add it to that course. I can go in here and I can add it to a course. I can copy it to another area. I can move it. I can delete it. I can edit it. But you can add to course and then it'll say which course. Oh, that one. Which folder? You know, basic communication, Chrome app. Yep. I can add it to whatever I want and then hit add. And then this whole thing will be copied over to that course. Same as if I'm back at my course, this can be moved to the resources, saved to resources. So some people create their course here. and then add it to the resources. So they create the course within the course and then add it to resources. And some people will create the materials in resources and then add it to courses. And then you can add it to different sections if you like. But yeah, for the most part, pick the way that you like best. But the one thing that I do suggest is, the one thing I do suggest is put things in folders to organize it. It's much better when you have categories, units, lessons in a folder, and then when the students click on that, they'll see all the materials associated with that topic or that unit. Same thing here. Break it down into folders, and then the students will see all the information that's inside that folder that's associated with that. So it's kind of like an outline or a drop-down main idea to all these little details associated with that task or that unit or that learning. Okay, so other things that you can look for, you can do a search within Schoology. There's apps that you can install outside. It's almost like your phone or your Chromebook. You can install certain apps on it to function within Schoology. Most of those are usually done by your admin, your tech person. Here's the calendar that's associated with your assignments for this class. This is all calendars, but I can do Schoology section 1, and then it'll show me everything. Oops, let's do practice, because I think practice is the one that had some people do things. But I can see the things associated with those calendars. If I want to create something too, I can create an assignment through the calendar. I normally don't do that. I do it through the course. And when I create a material through the course, if it's something that's important, then it'll put it on the calendar. Okay, so I don't do it the other way. I don't start with the calendar and then add it to the course. That's just not me, but that option's there for you. I can send messages to my students. There is a parent option in Schoology. A lot of districts don't use it because of Progress Book or PowerSchool, but there is a messaging option there. This bell is the notifications for you as an instructor. So if you have any turned in assignments, if students have sent you a message, if there's something going on in one of your groups, that notification will be there. Now you have the option of doing a couple things here. If I want to see my notifications, I can click there. I can navigate back and forth between my classes here as well as over here at the courses. But I can just go into settings underneath my profile name, and then I can see all of this stuff kind of loaded in. So account settings, notifications. Notifications is very important. I have them sent to my phone. I turn certain ones on and off. Email notifications every time something's done. You'll know exactly what to turn on and off. Basically, it's going to send you an email every time someone does one of these things when you say on. If it's off, then it won't be sent to you. Privacy settings, you can go through each of those and see what fits you. Again, this might be specific to this district, so you may be missing some of these things. You can see what you've transferred. I transferred some information from one course to the other. And then you can see some things that are in your recycle bin, and I can pull some of those out if need be. So that's what you have with the Schoology course. Again, those are just the basics. If I go back into my Schoology online, remember you can also do your updates. This is a messaging area only. So right here I said, welcome to class. This week we're having fun getting to know each other better. And then someone commented back, which was nice. But this is how you start an announcement. You just click up there, and then I can do add a file, a link. This is just like all the other things I've shown you. Pull something from my resources, audio video recording, poll, which is different. So I can do a poll in here. I can ask people, how do they feel? How many are completing their assignments? How many people want to go to the museum as opposed to the park? And then you can copy that, something from somewhere else, and then you post it. So materials. is where you add all the meat and potatoes of your course. Updates is where you're going to communicate, announce things to your members, and members is where you're going to add them. And all the stuff in between, it's if you want to use them, you can. But these are just the basics of how to use Schoology within your classroom. I've really enjoyed talking with you about the Schoology basics. I know there's a lot more that I could go over, and I apologize if I went into too much detail with some of them. There will be a Schoology course that will go into detail about some of these as well. You also in the comments can look at my email address, find my email address, and then send me an email in regards to what things you would like to know more about. Again, it's been fun, and I appreciate you taking the time to spend with me.